Well, welcome back to another Premier League predictions. This is game week 24. And let's just jump into it. No waffle today, we're just going to jump straight into the Saturday fixtures. And we're going to start off with Manchester City versus Everton. Man City host Everton at the Etihad, with City having the ability to go top of the league if they overcome the Toffees. The Manchester City title charge has well and truly gotten underway, as they came from behind to dominate Brentford, with Foden scoring a hat-trick. This sees them in second, just 2 points behind current league leaders Liverpool, who are coincidentally Liverpool's Merseyside rivals. The Toffees find themselves wallowing in the relegation zone, but are just 1 point from safety, as they come off the back of a draw to Tottenham. It was an impressive draw in the capital, as the Toffees came from behind twice to earn a vital point in their quest for survival. But against City though, I can't really see that happening. I'm going to go 3-1 to City. I do see City keeping all 3 points in Manchester. The Toffees are in desperate need of points as they look to escape the relegation zone, but their form just isn't looking great for survival. 3 draws from their last 5 is just not a good look, especially when you're needing to get points on the table as quick as possible. City though have extended their winning run to 5 wins from 5 and are really looking like they'll return to the top of the Premier League to defend their crown. Everton have scored 26 goals this season, which is only 1 more than Man City have conceded. To be fair, City don't really look too assured in defence, and I can see them failing to keep another clean sheet here. It seems like there's a mix with bag, or Edison produces another error, which is very strange for a keeper of his stature. But yeah, City just don't seem capable of keeping a clean sheet at the moment, and I don't think they'll do that here either. Everton will look to make it tough for City, but ultimately, I do see the citizens keeping all 3 points and going top of the league. Whether they'll stay there is a completely different question, but for now, City will be top of the league. And then move on to Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Brentford. Wolves host Brentford at the Molineux as they look to build on their win from last week and get a streak going to further cement themselves in the top half of the league. Brentford haven't been enjoying as good fortunes though, as they currently find themselves just 3 points above the relegation zone, in real danger of being pulled into a relegation scrap. Wolves have been enjoying much better form than their opponents, as they currently find themselves in 10th place with 3 wins and a draw from their last 5. This good run of form has seen Wolves march up the table, and they look like they'll be able to break into the top of the table soon enough. Will they be able to cement themselves there? That's a different question, but breaking in is the first part really. I'm going to say 2-1 to Wolves. I can see Wolves keeping the 3 points in the West Midlands. As I mentioned, Wolves have been enjoying some good fortune at the moment and look better placed than their opponents to earn the 3 points. Wolves came from behind to absolutely dominate Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, with Cunha chipping in with a hat-trick. Wolves will be looking to carry that momentum into this clash against another West London side. Brentford fell to City after initially going ahead as their overall form continues, and I can't see Brentford overcoming Wolves either. They're in some good goal scoring form at the moment, especially with Maupay, who's on fire. Even with Tony back, Maupay has been the one amongst the goals, which is strange to see after he could never really do it at Everton, but he's gone back to Brentford and he's scoring goals, so fair enough. And obviously Tony being back, he's going to have some goals in his locker, but I think Wolves will do enough to overcome Brentford. As I said, they've been playing better overall and are in some much better form than their opponents at the moment, so I'm backing Wolves to keep the 3 points in the West Midlands and to send another London team packing. And then move on to Fulham versus Bournemouth. The Cottagers host Bournemouth at Craven Cottage, as both sides are looking to make a return to winning ways. Fulham are coming off the back of a lacklustre draw to Burnley at Turf Moor, taking them to their second successive draw in the league, whereas Bournemouth also coming off the back of a draw, as they shed the points with Forest at Dean Court. This is also the Cherries' second successive draw, as they drew to West Ham in the capital, and it sees both teams sitting around the middle of the table, find themselves in 13th and 12th respectively. Both teams have been keeping pace with one another recently, with only just a point separating either side, so it should make for a very interesting clash. I'm going to say 2-1 to Bournemouth though. I can see Bournemouth taking all 3 points back to the coast. There's not much to separate either side at the moment, but Bournemouth are looking like the better attacking outfit at the moment. They boast a Solanke who is in some good form at the moment, with the Englishman currently 3rd, technically 2nd, as the 2nd highest goal scorer in the Prem this season. Fulham aren't exactly known for their attacking prowess this season. They've had some purple patches where they've scored a lot of goals and then they've just struggled, so who knows which type of Fulham we'll get. But both teams are currently level on goals scored, so clearly it doesn't matter. The visitors have actually conceded 3 more goals than the hosts, but ultimately I do see the Cherries taking all 3 points. I just think they play some good football under Areola, and I think they'll be able to exploit Fulham, to be honest, because they don't seem to be the best at the back, even if they conceded less goals than Bournemouth, but you know what I'm saying. And then we move on to Tottenham versus Brighton. Spurs host Brighton in the capital as they look to make a swift return to winning ways and maintain their challenge on the top 4. They host the Seagulls, who are looking to climb up the table to ensure they finish in a European position come the end of the season, depending on how they European exploits go this season. Spurs are coming off the back of a draw on Merseyside as they couldn't hold on to overcome Everton, who scored at the death. This draw sees Spurs sitting in 5th, just 2 points off 4th place Villa, and despite dropping points, they are keeping the race for the top 4 competitive, although it'll be a very tough task to dislodge any of the sides already up there. Brighton had a better time of things last week as they dominated their A23 rivals at home. This sees the Seagulls sitting in 9th and are only 3 points behind 6th place United. They could definitely catch them. They're playing well in Europe as well, but look well placed to finish in another European spot should they fail to qualify through the tournament. Saying that, I'm going to say 2-0 to Tottenham. I think Spurs will keep the 3 points in the capital. The last time these two sides faced, it was a 6-goal thriller, but I can't see the same happening in North London. Both teams do aim to play some vibrant attacking football, and it has paid dividends for both sides this season, with each team being cemented in the top half of the league. Spurs have been more successful in attack this season though, scoring 49 goals to Brighton's 42, but still, it's very close. They're both playing some phenomenal football at the moment, and their attack only looks better with Son set to return after South Korea were knocked out of the Asian Cup. I doubt he'll start, but he could make an impact off the bench, but then again, he could shock us all and start, so we really don't know. Brighton have also conceded more than Spurs, which doesn't bode well against a very attacking side like Tottenham. You know, I see the point staying in the capital. I think if one attacking side goes against another attacking side, the one with the worst defensive record is probably going to lose, and at the moment, that's looking like Brighton. And then move on to Luton Town versus Sheffield United. Now, this is one of the games I'm looking most forward to this week, obviously, other than the Forest clash. But yeah, Luton Town hosts Sheffield United at Kenilworth Road in what could be classed as a relegation 6-pointer. Luton have maintained their position just above the relegation zone as they shared the points with Newcastle in an 8-goal thriller up north. Sheffield United no stranger to 8-goal thrillers, but they didn't take part in one this week as they found themselves rooted to the bottom of the league, coming off with a loss to Aston Villa at Bramall Lane as well. Luton Town were written off by many, but have shown that they can hold their own in the Premier League and have continued to grab some very important results in their quest for survival. The Blades have not been experiencing as good fortunes though, only winning 2 games all season and drawing a further 4. A result here would be huge for either team's survival hopes, and I'm going to go 3-1 to Luton. Luton have been in brilliant form as of late, and I do see that continuing here. That has scored 4 goals in their past 2 matches, but I don't think they'll manage that against the Blades. It may seem like a rogue shout as the Blades don't look like stopping anything. Like, they've got the worst defensive record in the league this season, but something's telling me that they won't ship 4 goals to Luton, but 3, so it's not much better. The Blades' winter signing Brereton Diaz has hit the ground running, scoring 2 in the 3 games he started, and I back him to continue that form here. It should be a good match at Kenilworth Road, but I do see it further cementing Luton's chances of survival, as I back them to ease past Sheffield United. To be honest, they're a bit of a better defensive outfit than they were under Heckingbottom, but again, I think Luton have got this one in the bag. They're definitely the better of the newly promoted sides. And then we move on to Liverpool versus Burnley. Liverpool host Burnley at Anfield as they look to make a swift return to winning ways to maintain their spot at the top of the league. This is an important match for both sides, who find themselves in polar opposite positions of one another. Liverpool were soundly defeated by Arsenal in the capital last week, but despite that stumble, they maintained their spot at the top of the league. But that did cut their advantage to only 2 points, so could slip if results don't go their way. Burnley haven't been enjoying as good of a season though, as they currently found themselves in 19th place, 7 points from safety, so it's really looking good for the Clarets as they enter the business end of the season. They're in desperate need of some points if they want to survive. They don't really look like getting anything from most of the teams above them, if any whatsoever, to be honest. I'm going to say 3-0 to Liverpool. I see Liverpool claiming all 3 points at Anfield. You know, despite falling to Arsenal at the Emirates, I can see Liverpool making a swift return to winning ways, and should see this as a perfect opportunity to do so. Liverpool were handed their first league defeat since September 2023, and that remains their second loss of the season. However, both of those were to North London teams. This takes their form to 4 wins from the last 5, and we'll look to make that 4 wins from the last 5, because that loss will just keep going. You know what I'm saying. Burnley wish they could say the same, but after sharing the points against Fulham, it sees Burnley winless since December. Their last win did come against Fulham, which is interesting, I guess. This takes the Clarets record to 2 draws from their last 5, which again, not great for a side aiming to avoid relegation. Burnley have shown an ability to score goals, but Liverpool also boast the best defensive record this season, only conceding 22 goals. And I can't see Burnley grabbing a goal at Anfield. I just think that with the joint best defensive record this season, you're going to prevent goals from these lower down teams, and unfortunately for Burnley fans, that's what you are at the moment. And then we move on to Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle United. We round off some Saturday football as the Magpies travel to the East Midlands to face Nottingham Forest. Forest are coming back of a draw to Bournemouth on the south coast as the Reds came from behind to ensure that the points were shared through a beautiful Callum Hudson-Odoi strike. Those vital points keep Forest 2 points above the relegation zone, but still in desperate need of points. A lot of points going on there. Newcastle are also coming off the back of a draw as they failed to overcome Luton Town at St James's Park. That point keeps Newcastle in the top half of the league and sees them 5 points off the top 6 spot. It's a very important game for both teams' respective seasons. The draw on the coast sees Forest's form continue to fall, being a draw and 2 wins from their last 5. So this game could be huge in order to get the season back on track and avoid relegation for a second successive season. And I think we'll do it because I'm going to say 2-1 to Forest. Now, the last time these two sides faced, Forest ran out 3-1 victors at St James's Park, with Chris Wood turning into prime Ronaldo and just being an amazing striker that we all know he can be. Unfortunately for Forest, they will be without the Kiwi striker this time around. I think he's been on the balloons too much, but do still have attacking talent at their disposal that will cause Newcastle no end of problems. Newcastle are still a strong side, don't get me wrong, but their recent defensive record leaves a lot to be desired. If Eddie Howe had any sense, he'd be picking Livramento to start, especially against the pace that Forest have in their attack. You know, if I see Dan Burn in that starting lineup for Newcastle, Forest have got this one in the bag, let's be real. But Newcastle could be without two of their brightest sparks, especially Anthony Gordon, who looks to be out for this clash, which is a huge boon for Forest, as they're still going to be tired, as they're taken all the way to penalties by Bristol City in the FA Cup. So it's going to be very interesting to see who Forest pick and who Newcastle pick, but hopefully the Reds have this one in the bag. It's going to be a tough game for either side, but I do see Forest grabbing a very important 3 points in their quest for Premier League survival and doing the double over the Geordies. I'll take that. I have a Geordie mate. It'd be brilliant to wind them up about that. And then we move on to the Sunday fixtures and West Ham United versus Arsenal. It's an all-London clash as West Ham of East London take on Arsenal of North London at the London Stadium. West Ham come with the back of a loss as they couldn't get past Manchester United at Old Trafford, whereas Arsenal enjoyed much better fortunes as they dominated Liverpool at the Emirates. It was a huge win that keeps the title race exciting and shows that there are at least 3 teams all within a shout of being crowned champions of England. Sorry, Aston Villa. West Ham are keeping up their assault on the top 6, only faltering when they travel to Manchester, with that loss keeping them just 2 points off that top 6 spot, which is occupied by United. Arsenal have kept pace with Manchester City with their brilliant win over Liverpool, and that keeps them in with a chance of lifting the Premier League title. It's a big game for both sides, and I'm going to say 2-1 to Arsenal. I do see Arsenal claiming all 3 points in this East versus North London clash. West Ham have not been enjoying good run form recently, their last win coming in the reverse fixture back in North London. The Hammers will need their form to turn around if they are to secure another season of European football, unless they win the European competition again. Since their loss to United, West Ham's form isn't looking too good, grabbing 3 draws and a win from their last 5. It's not terrible form, but it's not great either. Arsenal have been looking much better, winning 3 of their last 5. It's even 3 wins in 3, which is even better. Arsenal are looking like a good side at the moment, and look to be over their wobble in form as they're vying for that title once again. The Hammers will look to make it tough for Arsenal, and I think they will, but I can't see them overcoming the Gunners. It won't be easy for Arsenal, but I do see them taking the 3 points back to North London. And then we move on to Aston Villa versus Manchester United. Aston Villa has Manchester United in a big top half clash. Villa have seen their title charge take a blow as their form dropped, with the Villains dropping many points, even from some more favourable matches you could say. Their title challenge isn't over, but it's become a lot harder than it already was, but I don't think they were challenging for the title to begin with, so top 4 is definitely a bonus for them. Manchester United have also not had a successful season by their own very high standards. They're essentially out of the title race unless they can hit some fantastic form, so a spot in Europe is probably the best they can aim for. Let's be real, they're not winning the Premier League anytime soon. Man United have been experiencing some better form as of late, winning their last 2 matches and generally looking like a proper football team once again. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw in Birmingham. I can't see either team overcoming the other. Aston Villa have had a very impressive record at Villa Park, but that was shattered by Newcastle, so they're looking to get an impressive unbeaten run started once again. Manchester United have been very inconsistent this season, but do look to have turned a page as they've started scoring goals and seeing out games. That win over Newport County was the real confidence booster they needed. Hodgland looks to be entering some run of form, getting amongst the goals recently. I mean, even Rashford is scoring goals. Come on guys, what's going on? Villa have had a better defensive record than United and have been more lethal in front of net this season, so it should be a game between the two sides as they're both in similar runs of form at the moment. Villa play some good football under Emery, whilst United seem to be finding their feet under Ten Hag. I know they've had him for quite a while now, but he's not really clicked yet. Could this be the time that Man United finally click under the Dutchman? It remains to be seen. But either way, I reckon we'll see the points shared in Birmingham. And then finally the Monday fixture of Crystal Palace versus Chelsea. Crystal Palace host Chelsea at Sellers Park in a South vs West London clash. Both teams have not been experiencing some good form as of late, and as such find each other in the bottom half of the league. Palace has not been having a good time with things recently, with Hodgson's position increasingly coming under scrutiny, but Palace don't have the funds to relieve him early, and no one wants to take over the job midway through the season. Big L for the Eagles, I guess, but man, the game's the game. I can't see Palace being at risk of relegation, but they will struggle for the rest of the season until a new replacement comes in. Chelsea are in a very similar position to themselves, with performances not being what were expected under Poch, and his position is seemingly under scrutiny. Both teams are coming with losses, so we're looking to make a return to winning ways. I'm going to say 2-1 to Chelsea. I can see Chelsea claiming all 3 points at Sellers Park. Like I've said, both teams have been enjoying good seasons so far, but Chelsea do look like the better side of the two, and have the most in them to get the win. That's not to mention the injury issues Palace have been dealing with this season. Most recently, Eze is looking to be out once again, only coming back recently, so yeah, I can't see him playing for much of the rest of the season. Definitely not this match, which is a boon for Chelsea to be real. So yeah, with Eze out, it's going to be very hard for Palace. I mean, they are unbeaten in 3 league matches at home, but I can't see them beating Chelsea. They don't have the players at their disposal to overcome this West London side. I don't think they could prove me wrong, but just looking at it as it is, not looking good for Palace. Palace are also struggling to score goals, which is not helped by Eze being out, but I do see them sneaking a goal past Chelsea because, yeah, they've made a few defensive errors this season, we'll just say that. Ultimately though, I can't see it being enough, and I do see Chelsea taking all 3 points back to West London, and another loss for the Eagles. I think they're looking at bringing Steve Cooper in, but he said he's only going to take charge next season, so he has a pre-season with this squad, so yeah, not good for Palace, and I don't think they'll overcome Chelsea either. But yeah, so those have been my Game Week 24 Premier League predictions. If you have any of your own, please leave them down in the comments down below. I do enjoy reading what you people are cooking up. So yeah, I've been O2GT. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.